Which should you buy? Good morning, YouTube. What's up, guys? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. Today we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna combine a first run impressions video with a which should you buy video, and that's mainly because I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions about how this version of the shoe compares to the previous version, and I want to be able to answer all that in one video and kind of streamline it a little bit better. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do two videos in one. So the first run impression will be of the New Balance 1080 V11, and then I'm going to tell you guys which you should buy, which is the better bang for your buck, the version 10 or version 11 right here. After today's run, I'm going to have two runs in this shoe, an 8-miler and a 5-miler, and I think I'll have a pretty good idea of if it's worth waiting and paying the extra few bucks for this shoe when the version 10's on discount and you can get it right now. So without any further nonsense, I'm gonna put that shoe down, I'm gonna put it on my foot, I'm gonna go for a run, then I'm gonna come back here and talk to you guys all about those two shoes and which you should buy. Let's go. Alright, I'm back from my run, and now it's time to talk all about the New Balance 1080 V11 and if you should buy it over version 10. So yes, you've seen that the New Balance 1080 V10 has been discounted at pretty much every retailer of this shoe, like on their website and things like that. And that is because the 1080 V11 is coming, as you can see here. I've put some miles in the 1080 V11 and I've put a ton of miles in the V10. And I'm gonna tell you today if it's worth holding out and paying full price for the V11, or if you should save some money, get your shoe quicker and just get the 10. Version 10 was a huge hit when it came out on the market last year, and it became a lot of runners' favorite shoe for longer daily mileage training days. And now we have version 11, which a lot of people hope, and it is the expectation that new will mean better, but that's not necessarily always true. But we're gonna decide today if it is in this case. Has enough been done to the version 11 to justify paying full price and waiting till February for it to come out? Before we get started today, I do want to let you guys know that Running Warehouse sent me the version 11 to review. However, they're not going to see this video before you. They can't tell me what to say, neither can New Balance, and all of my opinions are my own. This shoe I paid for myself a very long time ago. All right, let's start with the specs. Because this shoe is so new, I don't have the weight for it for a women's size 8, but for my size 10.5 women's, I weighed it myself and it came in at about 9.6 ounces. I'll tell you, these shoes feel pretty similar in hand weight-wise. And from my old video, I said that this was 8 ounces for a women's size 8. So I'd say this is about the same. Maybe it's actually a little bit heavier because this comes in at 9.3 ounces in my 10.5 sized shoe. I don't have the specifics for the drop of this shoe. Judging by the way these look, I'd say they're probably about the same, but I'd have to confirm that. So I checked with New Balance, and the stack heights of these two shoes are exactly the same. It's 27 millimeters of stack in the heel and 19 in the forefoot, giving us an 8 millimeter drop. And both the 1080 V10 and the 1080 V11 are true to size. The 1080 V11 uses the hypo-knit material that we saw in the 10. However, we have a slightly different design across the top of the forefoot, and moving back, we have an even bigger New Balance logo, which helps with the structure of the shoe. And the Ultra heel, the wrinkly brain heel, has dialed down a bit in terms of looks, but I still think provides the same sort of feeling. So yeah, like I said, the hypo knit in the forefoot of the V11 is slightly different than the 10 in the sense that it's a little bit stretchier, and I think gives it a little more of a roomier feel. V10 is certainly stretchy in that forefoot, and I love that about this shoe, but it's a bit more rigid in terms of knit than I feel the V11 is. The midfoot of this hypo knit material feels pretty much exactly how it did in version 10, despite the New Balance logo, like I said, being a little bit larger. It helps with lockdown. I don't think it does a ton different, but it is a change that they made. And the lacing system and tongue are pretty much identical in version 11 to version 10. They changed up the ankle collar a bit. I'll put them side by side so you can see the difference. I mentioned in my full review and in my first run impressions of the V10 that I was worried about this dip down in the hypo knit where it was a bit rigid and there was really no padding here. I was concerned maybe it would like cut up my ankles or something. I didn't have that problem, it turns out, but maybe somebody did, because they did fix that in version 11. They have this softer ultra heel material here, and it comes up a teeny bit higher. So I think they were trying to do away with the concern that I had and probably a lot of other people had. As far as this updated ultra heel goes, to me, it feels pretty much exactly the same. When I put the V11 on my foot, it felt very present. And in my first run, it felt pretty present for the first 2 miles or so, but with time that seemed to fade. And that was the same sort of sensation that I felt in version 10 when I started running in it. I think for me, I'd go with version 10 here just because I like the feeling of the hypo knit in the forefoot a little better. I like that it's stretchy, but it doesn't feel loose. I just felt a little more dialed in version 10 in the forefoot than I did in the 11. And that's why I'm gonna go with version 10 here. Moving on to the midsole, the 1080 V11 is sporting a full-length platform of Fresh Foam X material, which we know and love from version 10. And it also has a nice curve upward to help you roll forward in your stride. So far, I have 2 runs in this shoe. I have an 8.2 mile fairly easy run, and then I have another fairly easy 5-mile run. And it felt so good on both of those runs. You certainly won't feel like you're lacking in cushioning with this shoe. I mean, it has plenty underfoot, and it feels just as comfortable as the version 10 did. You're not losing anything here. They're not firming anything up. It's basically identical. Like I said, basically identical. In fact, these shoes feel so similar underfoot that if I closed my eyes and someone put either shoe on whatever foot, you know what I'm trying to say, I don't think I'd be able to tell which was which. Maybe version 11 has a little bit more under the forefoot. I haven't been able to confirm that. If I am able to, I'll certainly put it in the video somewhere down here. But it's slight. And I can't tell if that's just because this shoe's brand new and this shoe has a ton of miles on it. That might very well be the case. But they feel extremely similar underfoot. But yeah, if you're looking for a shoe to take on your longer days where you want to go easier, then this is a very good choice for that. The V10 was one of my favorite Max Cushion daily trainers from last year, and I think that the version 11 is going to be very similar for 2021 for me. I really love the feeling underfoot. I don't think this is the most versatile shoe. I certainly wouldn't be doing any tempo work in it, but I think that if you wanted to pick up the pace just to see how it felt, or maybe you were doing like some strides or some up-tempo efforts within your easier run, the shoe could handle it. And so could version 10. So because of that, which would I pick for the midsole? I have to say, it's kind of a tie here because they really do feel so similar. They're gonna give you the same sensation. They're gonna provide the same amount of durability, which is pretty good in my opinion. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a knock to the version 11 because they both feel so good underfoot. I love them both equally. Moving on to the outsole of the 1080 V11, we have blown rubber in the forefoot that dips a little bit into the lateral side of the midfoot, and then we have some more blown rubber in the heel. These two outsoles are exactly the same. This has a lot of miles on it. Yeah, the traction pattern has worn down a bit, but honestly, the traction on the road, how it grips onto surfaces is still pretty damn good. I haven't had any issues with slipping or anything like that with this shoe. So if that's any indication of how this is gonna hold up, I think we're gonna be just fine in this department. And that makes me pretty confident that V11 is gonna be just as solid of a workhorse as the V10 was. So for outsole, which would I choose? Honestly, I can't choose because they're exactly the same. So it's a tie here as well. Now let's talk about price, which is where this is gonna get interesting. So the version 11 of the 1080 doesn't come out until February, and it will be available for $149.95, which was the same price as the version 10 when that came out. But now, since the version 10 has been out on the market for a long time, and they're trying to get rid of these so they can bring more of these in, these are on sale at Running Warehouse for $104.88. So here is where my answer comes in. This is a fantastic shoe, one that I am very excited for in 2021 and will continue to put lots of miles on and absolutely bring to 50 miles for a full review. However, because it doesn't come out until February and it'll be at a much higher price than version 10, I'd say if you're looking to save a couple bucks and you want your shoe now instead of in a month from now, get version 10. And I think that's exactly what I would do. There's just not enough difference here to justify waiting, and that's not even the real problem, is to justify paying the extra dollars. Now, if you're sick of version 10 and you want to try something new and you're gonna pre-order this or you're gonna wait for it, then yeah, you're gonna love version 11, and it's great because yeah, they didn't change anything about it, but that's kind of a good thing because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yeah, guys, in the battle of which should you buy, 1080 V10 or 1080 V11, I say keep some money in your wallet and get version 10. If you're interested in picking up either of these shoes, I will link them down in the description of this video. Keep in mind, these are affiliate links with runningwarehouse.com. However, that doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel so I can compare these shoes and tell you which I think is the better option. Well, that concludes this video of which should you buy, the New Balance 1080 V10 or the New Balance 1080 V11. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit that notifications bell down below so you can find out every time I upload a new video. Question is, which one do you like the look of better? Leave a comment down below. I have another video for you guys on Sunday, another New Balance video. I know, a lot of New Balance lately, but we're getting through some shoes here, so just bear with me. I got others in the queue. But in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like Heller. See you next time. These are really good. Good and Gather organic apple carrot pouch. Is this for babies? Is this baby food? I don't know, but it's really good and you can get it at Target.